Hey guys, welcome to another video from Nathan Phillips Square in Toronto. I saw the comments on the first video that we posted, and I appreciate the positive feedback, support, encouragement, but I also noticed there were quite a few of you who were suggesting, hey, while you're out there at the park, why don't you try out the Jerome Gambit? That would be sweet. And believe me, if you catch me playing pawn to e4 on move 1, I definitely have it in mind. Bishop c4, and we hope for bishop c5, and we get it. Someone knows. For Jerome. Indeed. And after this move, I'll just pause and explain what I was thinking here, because at the time I had confused a few lines. You see me looking down there. What I thought I was dealing with was queen e7. And if you take this rook on h8, queen takes e4, and you go on to lose horribly here as white. So I didn't want this to happen. And I just had it in my head that if this rook is hanging, you can't take it. But after queen takes e5, d6, my opponent played it really quickly. I got psyched out and I was like, wait a minute, I don't think I can take that rook. I started thinking about, the queen coming out to h4 and all sorts of bad things happening. It turns out the engine gives almost +3 for this position after queen takes rook, but instead I decided to keep it simple, pretty much not go into any complications because I didn't want bad stuff to happen. So I played queen g3, and I guess my opponent's mind games worked. I don't even think, maybe he didn't even see the rook was hanging. We got some techno playing in the park there. You can hear Dylan in the background. And it was just kind of a great vibe as it got closer to the evening in Toronto. Someone brought a speaker. We're actually playing some techno music, so it pretty much felt like I was doing a chessbrah stream. Back to the game. Bishop on b7. Not ideal. My opponent has taken a bit of extra time to develop a piece when it probably could have been placed nicely on e6. Nevertheless, I have to decide how my pieces develop here. And I ended up choosing what I thought was a very good plan of not trying to put my bishop on g5 and dealing with h6, but rather to quiet move bishop d2. Bishop d2 gives me the flexibility to castle. We see some photo ops in the background there. Honestly, the girl started shuffling. She's feeling the music. The vibes were great. Everything was in place for a great Jerome Gambit. This is ideal for me, opening up my rook against the queen. And my opponent plays king to g7. This is kind of a tough moment for me. It's easy to look at this position and eventually realize, hey, wait a minute, bishop to h6 is a major threat. This wins the queen. But you have to remember, when you're playing the Jerome, you're already down a piece. So I'm kind of rationalizing to myself here, should I not play bishop h6? And at this point, I feel like everybody around me has spotted the move. My opponent's probably like, why is he not doing it? But I like to give myself a little credit here. The engine does not think bishop h6 is the best move in this position. You just give up too much material. I only have a rook, queen, and knight after that exchange. And black has so many pieces he can coordinate. So instead of bishop h6, which looks incredibly tempting, I was pretty proud that I was able to find the top engine move here, which surprisingly was bishop to g5. It took me a while to figure this out as I was going through the lines in my head, but I also wanted to make sure that I kept pieces on the board. That's always a good tip if you're playing someone and you're trying to induce blunders or make it more complicated for them. The more pieces you leave on the board, the more opportunity you give them. Now the queen is under attack, but I haven't given up my bishop. There was only one safe square for the queen there, and it was actually queen c8. And even still, white holds a small advantage. But after the move queen to e7, white is in cruise control, so to speak. There's a funny moment there where my opponent basically said, "Hey, thanks for not taking my queen." And I told him, "I'm not sure you should thank me." You know, he might have thought that I was being a good sport, letting the game continue. No, not at all. Hey, I'm here to win. I didn't do bishop h6 check because I actually didn't think it was the best move. Unfortunately, this knight move doesn't help much because I can capture it, and the queen on e7 is still attacked by my bishop, and things start to get dire for my opponent here, whose king is about to be hunted. My pieces are almost all mobilized. I have a rook, knight, bishop, queen, and maybe even pawn participating in a nasty attack against this black king. So I spent my time here looking for the knockout blow, how to activate my pieces. Of course, bishop f6 is a great move, wins material, but I was looking for better than just a great move. I really was looking for the KO, as they say. e6 was something I became very confident of the more I calculated. This allows my queen to threaten the c7 pawn, which might win a bishop, but very likely will lead to a checkmate with the black king. Queen takes pawn, and now the only way to follow up is queen takes c7 check. And you guys know me, after queen to f7, I have that look on my face probably that, you know, many a viewer and subscriber have seen when we play a friendly game on stream. I see rook d7 winning the queen, but believe me, I am looking for some beautiful sack or checkmate. I'm trying to look for better here. So I spend some time, I don't see it, and ultimately I decide, okay, let's just finish this one off for Jerome in a clean fashion. And rook d7, I think, does just that. Winning the queen by force. The bishop is still hanging on b7. My opponent decides to take, which certainly does not help his cause. And after queen takes d7, my opponent should be getting mated here. And after knight f6, he decides to call it. Great game. Well played by my opponent, who actually tricked me in the opening with d6. And you can see me on the board. I'm actually explaining how I thought d6 was a great move by him. And he was like, "Hey man, I have no idea what I did." Which is a pretty fair reaction. But in the end, I was actually wrong. My opponent had tricked me with how confidently he played d6. I could have grabbed his free rook. I didn't. We played a fun Jerome game all the same. But in the end, we got a pretty nice KO checkmate here, proving that the Jerome, with its undefeated over-the-board record, is still very, very viable. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing me bring out the Jerome in the park.
Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you enjoyed the video. It's going to be part of some more videos from Nathan Phillips Square here in Toronto. As you can see, it's beautiful. But if you like that video, make sure to check out more of that right over here and subscribe to the channel right here and turn those post notifications on so you don't miss the next video.